Welcome back to Low Country Spotlight. I'm your host, Margie Pizarro. Today's show, we have focused on some of the wonderful things that are happening at Dorchester County Habitat for Humanity. Now, our previous guests included the Executive Director, J. Jones Elliott, and the Marketing and PR Manager, Caroline Myler. Well, today, what we wanted to do in our third segment was specifically put a face with the work that's happening at Dorchester County Habitat for Humanity. So for our segment number 3, we have Ms. DeShante Jenkins, and DeShante is actually the newest homeowner. She actually had her home dedication and received the Bible within the past week, and we're so excited to have her here to actually put a face with the program. So DeShante, welcome to Low Country Spotlight, and we're so happy you could come and be with us today.
I'm glad to be here too, and I'm very blessed. Thank you.
Talk to us a little bit about how you even got involved in the program with Habitat for Humanity.
Well, I saw a poster at one of my jobs, and I saw that a meeting was being held, so I went to the meeting, and I sat there and I listened, and I heard about all the requirements, and I had been praying about a house. And I said, well, maybe this is how I'm going to do it. So I went and I heard all the requirements, and it sounded really hard and complicated.
Now, what were some of the requirements that you heard about?
You know, definitely 425 hours sweat equity. And, you know, at that time I was working 2 jobs.
Wow.
So, you know, 1 full-time, 1 part-time. So it was like, okay, where am I going to get all this time?
Now, some people may not know, what do the sweat equity hours mean?
What it means is that you actually put in your elbow grease.
Wow.
And you help to build your house. And when I tell you that it's not hard, it's not hard at all, because it's you putting your love into your house.
And I think that for the most part, when you make that type of investment, you know, not only of, you know, your monetary means, but of your time, doesn't it give you such a bigger sense of pride? Definitely,
definitely, because like now, in my house now, I walk around up and down and I'm like, wow, there's a stud right there. You know, wow, I did that. Wow, I remember doing that. And I'll go and look around and say, I remember putting that piece of plyboard there.
Wow.
I remember putting this floor in. Just little things like that. It's just so nice. And I went outside yesterday when it finally got sunny, because we had this bad storm recently, and just walked around the house, and I just kept saying, thank you, God, thank you.
Well, in addition to the 420 sweat equity hours, what were some of the other requirements?
Some of the other requirements was they did send us to definitely go to Family Services in North Charleston, so that we can definitely get classes on credit. You know, there are no credit requirements. However, you do need to know how to budget. And so I learned a lot there too. Like, I learned to definitely not to spend so much on unnecessary things. And so that has helped me too to save my money, because you do have to pay your own closing costs. So while there's no like down payment and that the payments are interest free, you still have to have your own closing costs. So learning that stuff from Family Services helped me to save up my money for my down payment. Well, I'm sorry, for my closing costs. Now,
what was your family situation prior to you getting involved with the Habitat program and actually becoming a homeowner?
Prior to that, I'm a single parent, and I have 2 daughters. One just turned 19, the other one just turned 17, and we've always been in apartments, apartment to apartment to apartment, and 2 bedrooms. So they've always had to share a room. And this recent apartment that I had, both rooms were the same size. You know, everyone's like, well, do you give them the bigger room since they're sharing? And I'm like, well, both rooms are the same size, so they just kind of have to go in that room. And they're so happy now. They're to the point, they're making appointments to see each other.
So you actually went from a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 people, you and your 2 daughters, to now is it a 3 or 4-bedroom home?
It's a 3-bedroom home.
Wow, 3-bedroom home, and your girls are elated because now they have their own space.
They have their own space.
And tell me some of the ways in which you think making this move and making this change is going to positively impact your family.
It's going to positively impact my family because, one, I have something to leave my kids. I'll have my own land. I have something that I have equity in. I have something that's mine. And in an apartment, it's never yours. You know, you're paying rent, you're paying rent, you're paying rent, but it's never yours. And it's affordable. So now I can afford to feed my kids and not have to decide, okay, light bills due, I got to buy grocery, so I'm only going to pay half of the light bill so that we can eat today.
And it seems that Habitat has allowed you to really address a need, the need for adequate housing, the need for appropriate space, and the need that comes with being able to budget, to save, and to pay your bills on time.
Definitely, definitely.
And I think a lot of times people find it a little bit difficult to understand why you would have to make the choice, you know, am I going to pay all my rent this month? Am I going to pay half my rent this month? Am I going to pay all of my power bill or part of it? Talk a little bit about that choice that people have to make, because a lot of times people don't understand that because they're not in that situation.
Well, that choice is something you have to make, and when you're a single parent or when you're even sometimes married couples, you have to make that kind of choice because you cannot starve,
Right.
and you cannot not have lights. And sometimes you have to, I've known people that have let cars go back because they have to eat, they have to have a roof over their head. So instead of paying a car note, they'll pay their rent. And they'll wind up having to do it again next month. And so it falls behind, and then it just keeps going in an endless circle. And so I call it the circle of doom.
Yeah, oh wow.
So, you know, you just keep going in this endless circle. And I feel like Habitat is a hand up and not a handout, and it helps you. So, I mean, people really need to open their eyes, stop being ashamed, and go get it.
And talk a little bit about that, because I do believe that sometimes there is a stigma that's associated when you're not able to meet your needs or when you live in a housing situation that's not the best.
There is a stigma. It's the stigma of I don't deserve, you know, and at that point you have to have faith. You really do. Because I sat in a room with like 30 other people, and just looking around the room, I saw some people that appeared to need it more than I did. But that didn't stop me because I knew that I needed it. So I knew what I was there for, and I went for it. And so you have to want it.
And I know, because I think that there are statistics that show that there are people who have begun the program but have not been able to finish it because they thought it was too difficult.
Yes.
And what would you say to those people?
I would say to those people that it's not difficult, but it does have to be something that you want. And so because of that, I try to go to meetings with Jay to go and talk to the new recruits. That's what I call them. Just to kind of give them a face and, you know, tell them, hey, been there, done that. And hey, if you need someone to hold your hand and pull you, I will, because this is something you need.
Well, I know from my personal experience with the organization that you have done wonders in terms of spreading the good word about Habitat, talking about how it's positively affected your life. Give us some parting words before we go, just in terms of if someone has a need and they're just afraid about trying to find a way to address it.
I believe that, you know, you just got to realize that God is always there. Even though you can't see him, maybe you can't feel him, but he is always there, no matter what. And every day that you wake up, that's your next chance to find him again. So you need to find him and let him take you where you need to be.
Yes, and those are some wonderful words to end on. It has truly been a blessing meeting with you.
Thank you.
Certainly a blessing that Habitat has been able to help you to achieve. We'll be back with more Low Country Spotlight next week. In fact, join us. Thank you so much.